This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday we're back, baby. Pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing a little thing we call the Town Watch. It's usually a little shorter. It's definitely a little looser. And it's just for you. If you give it the $5 or $10 a month level, that $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail every month that you give it that level, at least, because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. It's a great club. Patreon.com/sayswho.
Hello, everyone. Today is the 8th of July as we record. This will go out on the 9th, which means it's Amazon Prime Day. And that's a great time not to buy shit from Amazon. That man just rented Venice. Don't give him any more money. And maybe you'd like a book. You can buy any of my books from our bookshop. We'll give the link, bookshop.org, which is like basically will get you from all independent bookstores. Your local independent. Find yours, give them a purchase. The extra money. Remember, if you pay an extra $1, it buys a brick. It buys a repair. It buys, something. Buy something. But, and if any of you are pre-ordering my new book, You Are the Detective, The Creeping Hand Murder, from the Mysterious Bookshop. The link is, you can find it if you go to my, I need to make that link like, it's on, if you go to my Instagram profile, I have a link tree. It's right at the top. And we will personalize anything. Some people have had questions about the personalization. We're clarifying everything with the store and letting them 100% know that we will do massive personalizations. And Jay will get drunk during that process, probably. We're taking a bottle of whiskey for Jay, maybe some
let's go massive personalization, but within reason. Like, I couldn't buy a book and be like, I would like mine to have my name be the main character throughout.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like, we'll write messages in it. We'll do like cool stuff. Like, definitely if you want a little message written in, and when we sign it, Jay draws little drawings in there. We'll make it nice for you.
Yeah.
And if you order from the Mysterious Bookshop, which is New York City's oldest mystery, I think the United States oldest mystery bookshop.
Let's go. It's the oldest mystery bookshop in the galaxy.
Yeah. Which is probably true.
But possibly.
Maybe.
I bet England has a mystery bookshop that's been around since 1320.
They can get fucked with that. They do have an amazing new one. I think it's in Cambridge called Bodies in the Bookshop that I desperately want to go to.
Are there actually bodies in the bookshop? There should be.
It's the best goddamn name for a bookstore I've ever heard.
It is.
So good.
For real. For real. Well, if you would like to purchase things like books, and you would like to not do the whole Prime Day shit, I will point out that our little bookshop over at kickbezosintheballs.org, which is a part of bookshop.org's things, there is free shipping for the duration of this stupid Prime week. So go there, grab some books, get them shipped to you for free. kickbezosintheballs.org is where you can do that. And if you're buying things on the internet, you can always go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com where we have.
Do people buy the merch?
People do buy the merch.
Wow.
What? Why?
I just wanted to know.
You said that so accusatorially, and I'm not sure who you were accusing. I can't tell if you were accusing them for buying it or not buying it, or me for hyping it. I don't know. It was just there was a weird vibe in that.
I'm not mad at you, Dan.
Okay, great. Well,
I'm not mad at you, Dan.
That sounds great.
You should just keep going. Keep going.
Sayswhopodcast.com.
No, keep going.
All right. And I also sell some things on my website. And yes, Maureen, before you ask, people buy from there too. Shop.dansinker.com. I have patches and shirts and stickers. I just sent some stickers out this morning. So
I want some stickers. I'm going to put them on my sewing machine.
Okay. Well, order some stickers.
Why don't you give me some of our stickers?
Well, there's that. I used to send you a lot, and then you were like, "You're sending me too many," and now I send you none.
Can I have some?
Apparently, there's a space in between a lot and none. I didn't know.
I'd like to like get a sampling of the.
I can imagine. Imagine that you would. When you would like to get that.
My favorite of the tarot card ones. Actually, what's in Maureen's bins? That's probably my favorite.
There's all good ones.
So good.
There's so many good ones, and you can get those over at patreon.com/sayswho. Everything's for sale on the internet. Yeah.
And the Patreon content is 100% back.
It is.
Yeah, we just recorded 3.
3, baby.
So if anything happens in the next 3 weeks, it will not be reflected in those because we don't know about it.
That's okay. You know, the purpose of the Patreon is to be a little more fun and less newsy.
Nothing's going to happen in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fine.
All right, Dan. I got my passport. I've got my UK entry thing done. Yep. I have someone coming to water the plants.
Oh, sounds good.
I moved all the plants to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
They're all gathered in there. They look like they're waiting for me for the will to be read out.
Seems like good planning.
Everything's kind of cleaned up, tidied up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be in England until the end of July.
Yes.
I'm leaving you in charge of the United States.
I'm what now?
You're in charge of the United. I need you to make sure. I need you to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
I mean, that feels like, well, 1, a tall order.
It's just 3 weeks.
And 2, implicit in that is you were in charge of the United States? Because if you were, I got some questions.
I wasn't in charge. Like, I wasn't in charge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was around.
Okay. But now I'm in charge.
Now you're in charge. And just 3 weeks. I think you can handle that. 3 weeks of nothing terrible happening. That's all. Just a real basic. Just no fires. Okay. Just nothing.
I mean,
look,
it's July.
You can do this. You can do this, Dan. I'm going to go.
I don't.
Here's the switches and here's the panel. Bye. I'm gone.
I don't want.
You just take care of this, Dan.
I don't want. No.
Bye.
Don't leave.
Welcome. I snuck back in.
I was wondering if you were actually coming back.
I tried to slam my door, but there was a wire in the way, so I had to keep going against the door.
I heard it. I heard it subtly close.
What's that kind of? To Sayswho, the podcast that is the bunk.
It is a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
I remain Maureen Johnson, as I've always been.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be super weird if you were suddenly like, actually, my name is Priscilla Snapson.
That's me, Priscilla Snapson. Hi, everybody. It's me, Priscilla Snapson. Welcome to Snapson Chat, where I talk about things that are on your mind and mine.
That's every podcast now.
Do you want to have some wine while we talk about it? What are you drinking, red or white, or a little mix of the two? Don't mind if I do. It's wine o'clock somewhere. Glug, 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 glug. I drink child wine.
What does that mean?
If I drink wine, Dan, I don't drink red wine.
Okay.
Because it has an effect on me like NyQuil.
Okay.
Like, basically, if I have red wine, I'm just like, ugh. Everything goes in slow motion. Like,
out.
Where is everybody? White wine, though, and like fizzy wines, I can do for days.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And I like an embarrassingly buttery Chardonnay. Like that, really, like the wine that looks and feels like an inspirational quote written in that font. Live, laugh, drink. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
And I don't drink very much, but if we tend now to have a bottle of wine around the house, and I'll have a little glass some evenings,
Okay.
a little chilled glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's because I live with a European. When they were
like
European.
to do that.
Because I never would have done that, but they have a little glass of wine in the evening, and
Mhm.
I didn't drink for a long time because my
Okay.
body couldn't tolerate it.
Yeah.
After I got sick, and then it could. And so for me, a large evening, like a really, really crazy evening,
Yeah.
would be if I had like a glass and a half.
Get out. Maureen's cutting loose.
I can also drink whiskey. My body tolerates whiskey extremely well. Whiskey is good.
Yeah, whiskey is good. I don't drink a lot anymore, and which is, totally fine. And this past weekend, it was the 4th of July, which means it was not just America's birthday, but my kid's birthday. And we had a couple of folks over, and we sat in the yard, and we had earlier in the day put a cooler out full of ice and cold drinks, including some cold beers. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have an ice cold beer.
How was it?
That shit's delicious on a hot day. Man, ice
I
cold
haven't
beer
had
on
a beer.
a hot day. It was great.
I used to drink beer, quite a lot of beer in college.
Okay.
Well, then I went to England and I also drank beer. Like I drank beer in beer situations, but I haven't had a beer 10, 15 years. Like I just don't drink it. Grad school, a lot of beer.
Okay.
Because the pitchers were like 50 cents. And then it's like, that's about our price point. I'm about to go to England.
You are.
And we occasionally have a little cocktail there.
Sure.
I'll tell you what we're going to enjoy. Because everybody going to England. Oscar, we usually go more. Oscar's English.
Yeah.
But this year we've been a little concerned about going in and out of the country.
Yeah, understandable.
So we're doing kind of one bigger trip, longer than normal. We just took Dexy to puppy camp this morning. She likes it there. She's okay. My heart's breaking, but so we're gonna go several places.
Yeah.
We're gonna help his parents pack up their house.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna be writing. I have a book due, so when I say we, Oscar's gonna be doing that while I am sitting somewhere else working on a book.
Yeah.
And if necessary, I will be like, "Do you want me to put these things in this bin?" Like I'll do that.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm very heartbroken.
Girl, I am a bin expert, so
listen.
If you have a bin and you need a thing in it, just let me know.
I'm going to be in a bunch of places all around England. I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be in Guildford. I'm going to be in the New Forest. We're going to be in Cheltenham, and then we're going to be in Somerset.
Sounds wonderful.
It's going to be. I feel like I'm going to have a mental episode, though. Truly.
I mean, that sounds right.
Because I'm going to leave the United States for the first time since this has started.
Yeah.
And even though it will still be going on, I'll still be reading about it. I think there'll be a slight feeling of distance and unreality to it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like when COVID hit and we left New York for the first time in the summer.
Yeah.
In a cleaned and Lysoled car, and we drove and we stayed in our friends, in Cassie's guest house.
Okay.
And it was the first time we'd been sort of outside or around others in any way. And the first night there, I was screaming in my sleep. I had a whole anxiety thing that it was like I slept and it all happened. It was like I did all the therapy and I woke up feeling great.
Yeah.
Have been reportedly screaming in my sleep again.
Oh, good. Perfect. Here's a sleep related conversation. Mm-hmm. So 2 weeks ago, I went to the dentist. I think we've even discussed this. And I got the best dental checkup report I may have ever had as an adult. And I've been an adult for a while, right? And I came home and I was like, this is awesome. Shit's turning around. My mouth is finally great. I'm so happy. And 2 days later, I'm eating ice cream, Maureen. Ice cream. And it's a drumstick, right? And I'm eating it and I'm all, wow, whoa, there's a giant chunk of ice in this drumstick. And then I'm like, that's a hard piece of ice. So I spit it out And then I go, oh my God, there's a tooth in my drumstick. And then thankfully, my brain, which wanted desperately to not be horrified, reminded me, hold on. Oh, yeah, that's a crown. That just fell out of your mouth. So I go back to the dentist. And they're like, wow, you're back. And I'm like, yes, I just had a crown fall out. And they're like, huh, wow, that's weird. Okay. And they glue it back in. Thankfully, they could just pop it right back in. All good. 3 days after that, I'm eating, I want to point out, eggs and toast. None of these things are hard, right? I finish eating my egg and toast, and then I put my tongue up on my different tooth. I'm like, hey, there's a part of that tooth that's missing right now. That's not great. So then I call the dentist again, and I go to the dentist, and the dentist walks in and goes, why are you here again? Like, she is completely shocked. And she's like, oh, yeah, that time you didn't have a crown fall out. This is a different crown, and you cracked it. I'm like, great. So then I'm much less enthusiastic about my good dental record from 2 weeks previous, now that I've had a crown fall out and a crown crack. And then it dawned on me one night that I woke up in the night. I'm not sleeping well since the parental death situation. Not sleeping great. I woke up and I was like, oh, wow, I am grinding my teeth real hard. And then a friend of ours who just went through cancer was texting with Janice and was all, I've cracked 3 teeth in the last 2 weeks from grinding my teeth at night from stress. And then I realized, oh, it wasn't that I had a very vigorous cleaning of my teeth or whatever. It's stress. And I'm breaking my teeth.
And they're going to tell you to night guard. The same thing happened to me. I cracked a tooth due to stress, and I got a night guard, which I never wear. And I need to start wearing it again. Because it kept falling out at night, and I would find it, and I was like, ah!
Perfect. But yeah, it's not great. I get to go to the dentist on Thursday, and then I get to go 2 weeks after that, get a whole new crown. So I'm thrilled.
And they're about $6 billion.
Yeah, they're about $6 billion that we definitely do not have. So I'm excited about that.
One thing I like about American healthcare, aside from everything, is that eyes and teeth aren't included.
Right.
It's just not a part of it.
Is that true? Like in England, though? Like England is famous for terrible teeth.
But dental is included. Like
I always just assumed that was because dental wasn't covered.
No, I believe it is. I just don't think it's as... Well, I think that's changing, but I think there wasn't as much like... I was about to say orthodontia and like procedures.
They don't believe in perfect teeth.
I think now it's probably different. Like there's probably more people doing orthodontia or Invisaligns or,
Yeah. It's funny that you mention our healthcare system, Maureen, because I spent hours today on the telephone with our healthcare system. And let me tell you, and it turns out it was sort of just a weird, how to best describe it without revealing personally identifying details. It was a weird blurb. Is probably the best technical way to describe it. It was a weird blurb that for a moment made it appear that our income was significantly lower than it was. And then that triggered a whole bunch of automatic systems. And so I, after waking up grinding my teeth this morning, finally broke down and went and got my phone, which I don't store next to me. And I had an email from the health insurance marketplace being like, hey, you're double insured, and so we're going to cancel your insurance. And I'm like, I'm definitely not double insured, and I really need you to not cancel my insurance. So then I called them up and I spent hours, and finally they were like, oh yeah, that's just a weird blurb, don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, the thing about our system is I have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to worry about it a lot. And I am an OG ACA marketplace person. And so I've had weird blurps before, you know. And the craziest thing about those weird blurps is that to fix them, you essentially have to reapply. You have to fill in the entire form, and the people on the phone are actually very helpful and very great. And if you kind of engage with them, they will just kind of start you down that path, and they will read you the entire web form over the phone, which is maddening, but fine. So anyway, I spent the entire morning fixing a weird blurb that involved having to reapply for health insurance. And the whole time that we're doing it, I'm like, I really feel like I'm reapplying for health insurance right now. Should I be reapplying for health insurance right now? Because I don't think I should be. And the woman on the other line would be like, yeah, no, you're not. Don't worry about it. And then she'd be like, okay, the next form is about reapplying for health insurance. And I'd be like, this sounds like I'm doing that. And she's like, no, you're not. Don't worry. It's just the form. I'm like, okay, great. And here's the thing, Maureen. I hate our fucking health system more than anything in the world.
Why?
Because by the time that was done, and again, I do want to point out that the every interaction I've ever had with the health insurance marketplace phone people has been excellent. But by the time I'm done, I am gonna go jump in front of a car because I am so stressed out and I feel so bad. And it turns out it's not a good system.
Dan, as I've mentioned on this podcast before, since April, I've been trying to get a very simple shot in my foot.
Yes.
The saga continues.
Yeah, it does.
First time it was like the insurance thing, they're like, you got to leave. And this is, again, a very simple cortisol, a little lidocaine in there. Boop. Yeah. That's all it is. And the system's like, okay, yeah, if you want to pay out of pocket, that'll be $6,000. And then I looked on my chart. It was like, oh, no, $36,000.
Oh,
for a shot that is probably $5 or something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So I went back to the doctor a month ago to try to like re-up the prescription. Mm-hmm. And for almost a full month now, I have been having this conversation with the office. Hey, can I at least get the order, like the piece of paper that says what I need? And can you tell me if insurance has cleared it? Okay, we'll call you back.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, I go, hey, did you get an answer on that? And they go, oh, the other person's out. She'll call you right back. I have been doing that for a month.
Yeah.
So finally I wrote to the doctor and was like, look, this is an insurance problem, but I think it's also like maybe a front desk issue because here are all the things that have happened. Like every time I've left, nobody told me where to go, what to do, didn't give me a piece of paper and didn't upload any. They were basically like, bye. And I'm like, what now? And they're like, who can say? And so, then they're supposed to be clearing it with my insurance.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever gotten back to me.
Perfect.
I have been trying for 4 weeks now. And then they responded to that, said staff read. And then they sent me the prescription. They're like, here's the order.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, now can you tell me the insurance update? And they're like, we'll follow up with you. I've largely kind of given up because I think the amount of times I have called now just to try to find out what's going on is like 15.
Yeah, that sounds right.
For a shot in my foot, that will take under 5 minutes and is so basic. It is like I am trying to launch a satellite into space.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The doctor, who is Scottish but practiced in America, is so disgusted. She's like, I would literally go and get it out of the machine for you now and just give it to you and not say a word. Except that in order to get it out of the machine, I have to enter a code.
Yeah.
And then the code shows up. She's like, otherwise, if I could get out of the machine, I would just give it to you and not even write it down.
Our system is so insane.
Well, what's great, Dan, is that a wonderful thing has happened.
Yeah.
A wonderful thing has happened.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
I know. Is that a big and beautiful bill passed the Senate.
Yeah, it turns out
No, sorry, past the house.
it is big,
Mm-hmm.
but beauty, maybe not so much.
Now, where do we even, one of the, just on the topic that we're at, both Dan and I get our insurance from the ACA.
Yeah.
We purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
It is how you get insurance. We used to have it through Oscar's work.
Yeah.
And when the studio closed, we picked it up this year.
Yeah.
It's been great ever since. That's why I've been on phone calls. Like, that's why I spend like half my week calling, going, "You have a shot in my foot?" And they're like, who knows? Call again later. It's like they have a magic 8 ball. They're like, eh.
Yeah.
And that's a nothing. Like, what if I needed radiation? What if I needed chemo? What if I needed an operation?
I mean, so I've been on ACA plans since 2018, right? And they and that was after a period of actually having health insurance. But I bought my own health insurance way, way back in the day. You know, the difference between the ACA plans and the OG purchase individual health insurance is night and day, right? Like the old system was insane, right? The new system is just crazy, right? But it has made it possible for me and for many other folks that are independent contractors or creatives or everything like that to even be able to do it, right? And part of that is thanks to the fact that, you know, your income and the amount you pay gets a subsidy, right? And that subsidy used to be fairly stingy. And then COVID happened, and the Democrats were able to push through a significant improvement on the subsidies, and suddenly made it much more affordable, especially for folks with slightly lower incomes than me, right? But still made plans that would be a couple of $1,000s. You know, like, I mean, I'll just straight up, we pay, I think, about $1,200 a month, right? And without the subsidy, would be paying like $2,500 a month. And that subsidy, Maureen, that extended subsidy, expires at the end of the year.
We are in the exact same position.
Yeah. And we will likely have our health insurance increase by about $14,000 a year, which, you know what we can't do? That.
That's about what ours is going to be.
Yeah.
And
they had the ability to extend those subsidies in the big, beautiful bill, but they decided against that. Plus, they're actually making it much harder to qualify for the ACA and to get any subsidies to begin with. They're increasing. So a lot of what they're doing with health insurance, and this is I admit that I'm describing this from a privileged position, because this is all true as well for Medicaid recipients, except it's 10 times worse, right? Yes. But in both cases, they're sort of instituting cuts via paperwork. They're just both sides of this equation are being redesigned to sort of bury you in paperwork and make it extremely difficult to actually qualify. So, for instance, you know, one of the weird blurb that I had to deal with today is the fact that at one point when I was going through the application process, you give an estimate of how much money you're going to make in a year. Right. And I estimated a little bit low. And then I actually went back and changed that estimate the same day. Right. But that little bit low kind of sent a whole bunch of little computer bits scurrying off to do work that I didn't even know they were doing. Anyway, point being, you just say, hey, I think I'm going to make this much, right? If you end up making more than that, it comes out in your taxes. You pay back the difference and all of that. But now it sounds like they're going to make you prove that you make that before they will give you your subsidy, which for those of us that work in unpredictable income streams it's a little bit hard to prove ahead of time
Yeah.
that you make an income, you know? So yeah, and yeah, it's just, it really I got dizzy just then, Maureen. That's how much
I also
health insurance stresses me out. I just got dizzy as I was talking. Like,
I'm in a very privileged position that we can pay the bill.
yeah,
But I have also gotten a little dizzy, like looking at all of the various flying around factors that are,
yeah,
and we're like super lucky.
right,
But I'm like, yeah, like this is all, this is just every person taking in the news of like,
yeah. I
okay,
mean,
like
we have, as soon as it passed, I said to Janice, there are a few medical things that we need to fast track this year,
Yeah.
because we almost certainly are going to have to downgrade our plan, you know, and at that point we won't be able to afford those medical things. And you know what's fucking stupid? All of that.
I bought the fancy plan, like I
Yeah.
bought a gold level plan.
Yeah.
It wasn't like where like when I factored in everything, I was like the one above it didn't really do that much more.
Yeah.
But because I have some underlying conditions, I'm like, it's better to like get this one
Yeah.
in case anything happens. And let me tell you, I have this gold level fucking plan and I can't get a goddamn shot in my foot. Like
Yeah.
it's because they are making it so crazy.
Yeah.
The thing is that they're set up to deny.
Right.
So, and now it's going to be set up to deny food,
Yep.
healthcare,
Yep.
all the things people need to live. When I think about all of that, what it is doing to people and where all that money is going to go. I shouldn't have done it. The day that this was all happening, I happened to call my mom to talk about something, and I just started going off about it. I was like, all these people are going to die. Like and all this money's going to go to ICE. And I was just sort of, I was talking it through. So like I was going out of my mind. I was like a crazy person. I was like, but all these people, like how are they going to get food? And at the end, she was like, you should maybe take like an Ativan or something. Like she's a nurse. Like she doesn't just say that. And I was like, I am fine. I'm like, but this is the reality. Like we're in fact, I mean, yesterday there were troops walking around LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Big show of force in MacArthur Park. You know, a beautiful, I mean, I've been over there multiple times. So just like families, people playing soccer, kids on the playground. There's a big, you know, seemingly kind of gross pond in there. Like, yeah. And they just marched, kind of goose stepped a whole bunch of troops through the middle of the park. No, did not seem to actually be doing any sort of enforcement action. They just seemed to be performing.
Dan, is it bad when your government is like, we're going to start feeding people to alligators?
Yes, in fact, it is bad.
And we're going to sell merch like it's SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Like you can get a shirt about this new prison we're opening that feeds people to. Basically, we're like, if you try to leave, we will have alligators eat you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great.
That's really happening.
Yeah. It's not great. I wonder why I'm grinding my teeth so badly at night that they're falling out of my head. I wonder.
I wonder what. So it just so happened I was packing and I was like, what should I bring with me? And I was like, hey, why don't we bring our very slender copy of James Baldwin's The Fire next time as a reread, to just kind of, I just was watching a bunch of, the very famous interview James Baldwin, it was Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin.
Yeah.
Very famous video of a talk they did. It's like 2 hours long. You can easily find it, and it's amazing. And it's not that he's Nostradamus or anything. He just accurately reads the situation and explains it. But but he explains it very clearly 50 years ago and more, just like, here, let me tell you.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
And, to have arguably our greatest thinker just, quietly explaining.
Yeah. Decades ahead of time.
I watched another clip of him on the Dick Cavett show. If you've never watched any old clips of the Dick Cavett show, it's fascinating.
Okay.
Do you ever watch any?
I mean, I've certainly seen clips, and I think I've seen specifically the clip that you're referencing, but I don't actively seek out
I
old
think
clips from the Dick Cavett show.
I do, and there's a reason. Because there was this time that there were these kind of conversation shows that were so in depth.
Yeah.
And like weirdly direct.
Yeah.
And like the guests will just come on and sit there smoking and have these kind of fascinatingly, kind of weirdly candid conversations that aren't like media trained or what, like they're not kind of like, my movie's coming out and like,
right.
I was like, whatever. It's actually a very high level of discourse.
Okay.
Sometimes. And he's on the Dick Cavett show, and Dick Cavett show is asking him these questions about race, and James Baldwin was like, okay, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And then it's just jaw-dropping how he handles it.
Yeah.
And Dick Cavett's being very respectful, but at the same time, he's like a white guy who's like, well, what, can you tell me? And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The thing is that we're in it. And seeking information. So I guess I am information seeking.
Yeah. We're definitely...
It's not a if this happens. It is no. It is happening. And what actions do you take? And what's weird, Dan, is that fascism happens, and some things, and like Disneyland still exists,
right?
As does like the shopping and going out and doing stuff. Like for most people, stuff is still happening.
Yeah.
Like surprisingly, everything's normal. It's just also so many people are going to be out of, healthcare, short on food, afraid to leave the house, in active danger, troops on the street. And now, as we've seen with floods in Texas, like in active danger because we've dismantled the things that can protect people, because when you work collaboratively as a society, you create systems that protect people. Are there sometimes redundancies? Sure. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with redundant systems when they are, I don't know, weather prediction.
Hey, you know what I don't care about?
Yeah.
You know what I don't care about, Dan?
Yeah.
Is somebody like lying on a forum and getting a free sandwich for their kids at school. Definitely. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't give two shits about that. Good. Lie on the forum and get a sandwich. I don't care.
Right.
Give the kid this fucking sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's like one of the things that I think will be true. Well, I mean, likely true forever, but I think especially true right now is how asymmetrical everything is, where there are people, and I know some of those people, where they're just living their life normal style. They haven't felt anything yet, right? But it's the yet that is there. I mean, the floods in Texas are a tragedy, right? Of just awful proportion, and those were a bunch of people where the yet came through, right? Where now it's not yet, it's happened, right? That turns out you can't just cut many positions at the national meteorological level and at FEMA and not have it come back and bite you in the ass during one of the many different types of natural disasters that can befall this country, right? And for that matter, this is not just a problem that was, 3 months in the making. You also can't ignore climate change for decades and kick the can down the road forever and not have it bite you in the ass eventually. We are very much in the finding out stage of a lot of fucking around from everyone. Is this helping? I don't think this is helping. I feel like we started out mad and we're just getting madder.
I think maybe it is, because here's the thing. It is a coping strategy. And I think one of the things that helps people cope is that a recognition of it's not just you.
Yeah.
Because when you see so much normal stuff around you,
yeah,
you're like, well, oh, okay. Like, occasionally I will look on the people that like kind of annoy me, like the old high school people that I don't really look, and they're like, well, there's no problem. Like, everything's the same,
Yeah.
And that's the part. One of my friends put it the best, where she's like, I'm not even mad at the ones who voted for this as I am for the ones who don't even notice what's going on. She's like, for some reason that makes me angry.
Yeah.
We need to maybe what are our radio, something big buckets in the fart,
lady big buckets and the fart.
Dan, is this good?
No, it's not good.
It's just a little bit of a lot. Which is why I was trying to tell you about what kind of we're in England. It's also I'm packing for England like I am packing to go to Hawaii. It is like 90 degrees. It is hot.
Oh yeah, it is hot there.
It is super hot. And I mean, I did put a coat in there just in case, like a raincoat, but I don't know if I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
It's crazy hot. And I think they're just going to be kind of there living their lives and having like a nice drink on the lawn. And
I mean, to be fair, England's going through its own fair level of shit right now.
But they kind of don't have the paramilitary thing, and they kind of have health insurance right now. And they don't actively have troops sweeping the streets. They are not, in fact, feeding people to alligators. They're not doing great stuff, but they're not feeding people to alligators either.
True.
I feel
Do they have alligators in England?
I think they could get them.
They'd be like feeding people to badgers. That doesn't feel the same.
That is one thing Oscar has said, is that the thing about England is that all the predatory, scary animals aren't there.
Right.
The badger is about the toughest animal you're going to encounter.
Right.
And you don't really ever see those. The most dangerous snake they have, I believe, is the black adder. The adder.
Okay.
And even that won't kill you.
Right.
Like, I think if you get an adder bite, it's like maybe go to the doctor and get a little, like, your hand will puff up, but it's not like you get bitten by a goddamn rattlesnake.
Yeah. My mom used to tell me about back when they lived in the UK, and they would have, TV. And I think at that point, BBC was one channel, right? And occasionally there would be a show called Badger Watch, where they would just have a night vision cam or like a trail cam on, and you could occasionally see a badger.
Oh, Dan, they have a show. Boy, did we watch this during COVID. It's called Spring Watch, Autumn Watch, and Winter Watch. And it's on for like a week or something, a season. Yeah. And it's literally like just little set pieces about what's going on with a certain animal or a certain wetland or a certain thing. They have a bunch of trail cams that they'll walk you through, and they'll tell you what to look for. They'll have like a live part. And then they would have this thing, because so many people were inside, where they would say, and now we're just going to have a moment of calm. And they would just show you like the most amazing outdoor setting for 2 minutes.
I love that.
And I lived for it. I was like, I could not wait, because I was so in this apartment all the time. I was like, where's the Spring Watch? I can't wait to see that when they show us that lake. I wonder how that duck is doing. But but they will kill, they'll show you a badger. Maybe the foxes will come and live in your yard.
We were walking back from the park. It's like a block from our house. We got to our corner, and diagonal from our corner, Maureen, this was 2 nights ago, was a deer just chilling, just eating is like a little old like multi-unit building diagonal from us, and it was just sitting there eating their landscaping, just like, hey, what's up? There was a whole gaggle of kids that were like congregating way too near it. One point Janice had to be like, hey, that's a wild animal, back up.
They don't have rabies either.
They have ticks though.
They have ticks, but so do we. I mean, Dad, I've told you about the winter I spent in a castle in Scotland.
You've mentioned before, yes.
I won a fellowship a long time ago, and I got to, it was like it was a writer thing. There are 5 writers a month. You spend it in the castle. They feed you.
Okay.
You have to get there, but then you have a room and they feed you, and like they do your laundry, and
that sounds great.
It's completely quiet. Like you don't talk during the day. And at the time, 0 internet, nothing. I had nothing, no cell phone.
That sounds incredible.
I was in England, and it was also sort of at the time where you could kind of live cell phone free. So I had like basically no means of communication and no means of like letting people know where I was or figuring out where I was. And this one time, and it was also February.
Okay.
In Scotland, in a castle.
Heard it's beautiful that time of year.
It actually was not that cold, but it got dark at 3.
Yeah.
And one day I took the bus, which was at the end of the drive to Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I knew what I was doing. Basically, I was going on a paper schedule.
Yeah.
And I got a different bus back that I thought was taking the same route. But here's the thing. It didn't.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And it was pitch black.
Yeah.
Nothing. No street lights, no nothing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just on a bus. I don't even have anyone to call.
Yeah.
And I had purchased in town a large bottle of whiskey to be shared by all.
Yeah.
And I had just a sense, and I was on a dark road. I pulled the cord to stop the bus, and I got off.
Okay.
Somehow I had managed to, just through vibes alone, realize that I was near the entrance to the path to the castle.
Wow.
And this path to the castle was a good 1/4 mile long through the woods.
Okay.
There was no marker or sign.
Right.
And in the dark, no lights.
Right. That's another thing that's useful, easy to forget, is that we all walk around now with flashlights on our person.
Yeah.
But that was not the case.
There was nothing.
Free cell phone.
I had nothing.
Yeah.
And there were no streetlights. And I'm just trying to find an opening into the woods.
Yeah.
Which I managed to find. It's still, honestly, don't know how. I honestly don't know how it was that I didn't spend the night just sleeping along the side of a Scottish road, which was very possible.
Yeah.
So I found the path, and I had to navigate the path by the fact that my feet were on something solid. If I felt dirt, I wasn't going to be on the path. If I walked into a tree, then I'd found a tree. But if I found a sort of something like asphalt, then okay, then I was on the path. And that's when I knew the badgers came out. And then everyone's like, that's what you got to watch for, is the badgers. So I was stomping along to try to make enough noise. And I made up a little song as I went. I was like, hey, Mr. Badger, please do not bite me. I am so scared of you, but I am easy. I am not scary, so do not bite me. And so I just sort of sang to myself and stomped along with this. And then and it was kind of cold. It was very dark. And I was finding my way through feet alone and singing till eventually I see the light on the castle.
Wow.
And I approach, and it was at that moment, and someone had started a fire inside, and I pulled out the whiskey, and I understood completely where Scottish whiskey had come from.
Yeah.
just this like, oh, you've been wandering the dark. You don't
Yeah.
know where the fuck you are.
Yeah.
You found a building, you go inside, and someone has started a fire. It was like I was in 1600.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you started down this path,
Uh-huh.
did you know this was the path to your castle?
I guessed it was.
Based on vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have been on a path to nowhere, or
I was on a path.
somewhere totally not your castle.
Yep.
I think I would have just stayed on the bus, to be honest. The bus was going to eventually arrive somewhere.
I don't think I could have. Like, I think they would have eventually been like, you have to get off the bus.
Well, I mean, the bus arrived. Like, that bus driver is going to go to the next town.
I think maybe I asked sort of where the castle was around, and he was like, it's sort of around. So it was like I knew approximately where it was.
Wow.
But truly, it was like, it's a castle, and it is down an unmarked path through the woods. I still don't quite know. It was like a hand reached down and was like, stop here. And I was like, I guess stop. I vibed
incredible.
it. I completely vibed it. I still don't understand it, but I understood. Dan, I spent a month basically not knowing anything.
That sounds amazing.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I couldn't reach anybody.
Yeah.
I used to write these long missives to my friends. I basically wrote them an entire book, and I would mail them discs with my like messages on it.
You didn't print them
and my
out?
friend, no, I like literally just sent them like,
wow.
There was no way to like literally get a message out. So I eventually got a message to a friend that was like, I'm going insane, because there was no TV.
Yeah.
The only thing they had was they gave us these little radios. So we had little like tiny radios. Honestly, it was like I was living in 1600. And it was like I was living in like 1940.
Yeah, I was going to say the radio thing didn't
The radio
exist
made
in
it more like
1600,
1940.
Yeah.
But I did say, my friend Simon is a film collector and had like tons and tons of beautifully organized movies. And I said, can you just send me a bunch of stuff? Every movie has to have like a helicopter crash or just the loudest, like whatever you've got. Like, he sent me The French Connection, which is like one of my, I would just watch The French Connection over and over, and Bad Boys 2.
Yes.
Because he's like there, and I would just watch The French Connection and Bad Boys 2.
Why were you needing explosions?
I just needed something to break the silence.
Okay. All right.
I just needed something to break the silence. And it was so, everybody was like, people would talk at Latin at dinner. And I was like, that was another part of it. Like,
what?
There's a whole,
hold on. What?
No. Okay. I was one of 5 writers. 2 were kind of older women that had been to like, they'd all had Latin at school. And for some, one was a BBC reporter who always wore like a flak vest.
Sure.
And he, to keep from going insane, found an axe and every day would disappear into the woods for like an hour with an axe.
Okay.
And on the last morning, he's like, Johnson, do you want to see what I've been doing with an axe in the woods? I was like, fuck it, let's go, Nick. And so I followed him into the woods with an axe. And he had been chopping apart a dead tree.
Okay.
But he used to just sit and stare into space sometimes. Because we all went a little buggy. And they had arrived by like car and stuff. Like they could get out. But occasionally they would start speaking in Latin at dinner. Like it just would happen sometimes.
Horrible.
And I was only American. I felt like I was glowing.
Yeah.
I felt like a ball of polyester. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, squeak, squeak, squeak. They're like, oh, the American's here. She doesn't know shit. And that's how I felt the whole time. That's why I was like, I just need something obnoxious to do privately, like secret, the secret shame of blowing up helicopters.
Definitely nothing asserts your Americanism more than Bad Boys 2.
I would go to the darkest of night, the secret of my room, just like leaning over, put in the disc, because there was a disc. Bad Boys 2. But there was a moment, Dan, where I was so unconnected. I was in the woods. And
Amazing.
I was like, maybe I die. I don't know. Who knows?
It's
And
just
once, oh,
me, the
also,
badgers, and this whiskey.
when I got in, I was like, I was afraid of the badgers. They're like, oh, it's the owls you have to watch out for because they'll go swooping down, especially if they see your eyes. Yeah, they'll go after you. And I was like, I'm glad you told me this when I was in
Do
here.
you all have red-winged blackbirds on the East Coast?
I don't
or is that a
think
Midwestern
so.
thing?
I don't know what.
Red-winged blackbirds are small birds. They have little red markings on their kind of shoulders. They have a very annoying call, and they are insanely aggressive and protective of their nests. And they tend to, at least around us, they like to nest where there are like walking paths. And so from spring till fall, when they leave again, you will get dive bombed by red-winged blackbirds. They will fully hit you in the head.
Yeah.
But they are like an ounce of bird, right? Like it would be the equivalent of you being like, that fucking elephant, I hate that shit. And then you just run at it and bounce off of its elephant skin, right? Like, but yeah, they are so remarkably aggressive, and they do not believe that you, this giant thing walking by at pace, they're like, keep moving, you fuck, keep moving, all right, I'm fucking coming. And then you'll be like, what just glanced off my head? And then you'll realize it was a red-winged blackbird.
Yeah, apparently they're like, oh no, the owls will go for your eyes.
I mean, owls
Hey,
are
wait,
bigger.
glad you're back. I also brought a little tub of chocolates, like those mini chocolate bars, because someone wanted that. It was somebody's birthday, and I brought them back one of those little tubs of mini chocolate bars. So I had whiskey and chocolate. And I figured that maybe, I guess, that if things just didn't work out that night in the woods, that I would literally just like try to sit off the path and maybe sit by a tree until dawn.
Perfect plan. I know we're running up on time, but in going through a bunch of stuff from my folks' place, a few boxes were mine, and in it I found a little, ring-bound memo book that was the thing I took with me when I went to New York City by the train with two friends when I was 15 years old. Which is insane to me. This is like New York City. So this would have been like New York City in like 93, I think.
New York City?
So like, back when it was still fairly rough. And there have been a few different times where I've been like, how did we do anything before we had phones? And the very first page of this memo book, I had written down 4 phone numbers and 2 addresses. And that was it. That was how we did it. Like one of them, I had an aunt that lived in New York. And so one of them was her home phone number. And then I kind of kept notes every day. I kept a little diary of what we did and all of that. And every day it was just like, tried calling her, no answer. Like, because we were using payphones. And finally, and I was also ticking down the amount of money I had. And finally on the last day, I connected and she took us out to dinner. And at that point, I think I had $8 left. So I was very excited. But yeah, I just had a memo book. What would have happened had I lost that memo book on the train? I don't know.
I fully moved to England with basically like just to get a job and do stuff with like basically nothing. So like, listen, man, what we're saying is get rid of your phones. Let's go back to the past where we don't know anything. Just live. See what happens. Spend your night by a tree. Meet a badger. Get lost.
Yeah.
Meet some people in a train station. Get involved. Join a cult. Freak out. Run to the hills. Develop a new language. Get weird. Talk to rocks. Talk to the sky. Wear nothing. Get barefoot. Stop wearing foot prisons. Drink raw milk. Get involved with some influencers. Get involved with some... Oh, no.
Says Who is made possible by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's where you can get this all over again every Sunday in July. Let's go ahead and say that. because we like you and we appreciate your support. If you give it the $5 level, you get that. If you give it the $10 a month level, you get that, and you get a sticker in the mail because you become members of Says Who's Club. Patreon.com/sayswho. Our theme music was performed by Ted Leo, who is out on the road right now. Go see him. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can contact us at sayswhopodcast.com on Blue Sky and at sayswho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can email it, hey, that's HEY at sayswhopodcast.com. You can always join the discussion on Facebook at /group/sayswhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. And there's also the fan-run Discord server at tinyurl.com/sayswhodiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you listen. And you can join us next Wednesday, July 16th, where Maureen will be coming in from jolly old England.
I will.
For our very next episode. And from my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
From New York City, I'm Maureen Johnson.
Wow, this has been Says Who. That's it.
That's it.
Why are you sitting there? You look like you're anticipating something.
I really have to pee.
Okay, well, you should go pee.
All right, bye.